Thank you. And now we move to the...
I'm sorry, he motioned, but I needed a second.
I did.
Mr.
Okay.
All right. Now to the public comment.
I'm gonna read one emailed comment and then I'll do it. This is from Adam Hajaran. Hello, Rana. My name is Adam Hajaran. I have been here in Hamtramck my whole life as a second generation. I have a question for the city council members for today, and the question is, why are new homeowners paying triple the property tax as their neighbors? I'm a first-time homeowner who purchased a home in April 2022, and my property tax this year is almost $6,000 for a single-family 1,300 square foot home. This is ridiculous and needs some attention. We are being over-assessed for any new home owner. How does city council expect us to stay here if we are being taxed more than people living in cities like Canton, West Bloomfield, Sterling Heights? This is unfair and unjust for a younger generation that wants to stay in Hamtramck and stay in this community that they have been all their lives. Another issue I see is that other cities offer discounts on property tax for senior citizens and veterans. The city of Hamtramck has none of those exemptions except for a poverty exemption. Our senior citizens deserve help and a discount for being here their whole lives. Again, property taxes for new owners are being overassessed, and the city council must take action. Thank you, Adam Hajaran. All right, I have Nasser Hussein Fleming. Welcome. 3 minutes, sir.
Just regarding the taxes, if people want their taxes decreased, there is on the ballot proposal to maintain the sinking fund. This one adds $3 to each thousand. Like if you own a house, tax for $100,000, you pay $300 extra. So if people vote it down, you will get rid of this. If people don't, you'll be stuck with it for the next 10 years. $300, $100,000 taxable value. When you campaign, you should tell people this. They could lower their taxes instead of just complaining. As for the parking, I heard Royal Oak, they changed the rules to allow people to park for 15 minutes and for 3 hours. Here we have it for 5 minutes and 4 hours. It used to be 5 and 3 hours, but a friend of the old mayor complained she wanted more time to change it to 4 hours. So you should contact the company and tell them that you want 15 minutes or 3 hours. Most people, they want 15 minutes free, same as Royal Oak. And that's it. The other ones I'll talk during the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you. Lynn Blasey? Poland Street. 3 minutes.
Hello, Mayor and Council. First of all, I would like to just make sure that we get some context for Resolution 2023-105 regarding the administration policy updates when that's presented. Regarding Resolution 2023-107, the purchase of 3441 Eveline for $120,000 seems like a really large, that's pretty expensive if our plan is to demo the building and turn it into a parking lot. I don't think that's a wise use of our money, and yeah, I'll leave that at that. It's just too much to spend to demo a house. Resolution 2023-112, I do support all professional development for our police department, specifically this resolution supporting a grant that would really focus on PD, focused on police interactions with people with disabilities. Regarding Resolution 113 through 115, I understand that this would replace the window units. That will have a nice effect on the outside of our building. Having window air conditioning units is kind of a tacky look for our city. And then I did talk to John DeAngelis, and he said, I asked why we can't just do an HVAC system and just keep everything through the whole building. And we can't do that because it's a cement building without any ducts. So this is the next best solution. It's an expensive solution, but it seems like it will solve a number of challenges that we have in the city. Resolution 2023-116 regarding the purchase of a wood chipper. I have a very overarching concern about the tree canopy in Hamtramck. And did talk to John about this, but I do really encourage if we have city employees trimming trees or removing trees, that they have trainings on tree care and making sure that we trim trees in a way that is not going to damage the tree further down the road, so we can ensure that the health is as best as possible. And then I do really encourage the city and mayor and council to look into partnerships with our local arborists, who are really our tree experts. I lied, Rana. Can I have an extra minute, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. Another benefit of this program would really make us, would allow us to give back to the community. John said that we would have wood chips, and we can make those available to residents, use them in public property as well, just as a turnaround benefit of beautifying our city. So I do support that. Resolution 2023-119. I absolutely support replacing all of our old windows, and I think the way that this resolution is set up, allowing for a long-term partnership to replace windows over that period of time, is a really good solution, instead of every time we need a window replaced coming to council and saying, hey, can we replace these 3 windows, these 4 windows. Resolution 2023-118. This is the replacing the plexiglass that's in front of windows. I think this will go a long ways to have consistency to the public-facing areas of City Hall, and just this would be consistent with the glass that's already in front of the treasurer's office. I do have 2 questions during the parking presentation. I'm really curious where the data set for the pre-pandemic parking came from, because there was no camera monitoring system, so how do we know how many instances the lots were used? And that's all my time.
Thank you. Josh Hamtramck of Gallagher, welcome. 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Josh Hamtramck. I am here to speak to you on behalf of the Hamtramck Queer Alliance. I have the duty to remind you of the unfortunate reality that the wound that the elected officials in this city have opened has not been healed, and we have not even really stopped the bleeding. We still have weekly reports of multiple instances of vandalism, slurs, and now even death threats. And it's really concerning as a homeowner here in Hamtramck and a queer person that I want to feel safe here. It might have been 2 weeks of normal business for the council and for the mayor, but for the queer residents of this city, it has been 2 weeks of continued fear. And I'm wondering what the council is planning on doing about this. What I have not heard has been any sort of follow-up or resolution to the events that have already happened. And so now these cases are starting to pile. Some of the places that have been vandalized are now repeat victims. Does the council plan to visit the establishments that are being hate crimed? Is there going to be a task force assigned to the ongoing prevalent hate crimes that are occurring in this city? Are we going to label them as hate crimes or continue labeling them as malicious destruction of property? Those are the questions I would like the council to consider this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Michelle Kamen, Belmont, welcome.
Good evening to all again. I'm here to talk about the property taxes again. I know when we met the last time, we were talking about trying to come up with some resolution with trying to decrease the taxes, not for just only for the plans, but for all the residents and all. I read the review and I was a little disturbed because a lot of this information is very inaccurate, first of all. You guys had, not you guys, but they had in here that the tax bills went up to almost 4.5 mils. When I looked up on my tax papers, it was way over 4.5 mils. And like I said, it's misleading to have a tax bill to say this is not a tax bill and say that your taxes is going to be approximately $90 to increase or decrease. And it's not fair to me or anybody else in the city that get those letters and then they get the main tax bill and it's way over $300 or more. It should be some kind of plan to let people know in the city, homeowners especially, and let them know, okay, your taxes may be boosted up a little bit higher than norm instead of getting a big old surprise and everybody is getting upset about it. So, and another thing, I'm in a Sarah Garrett lawsuit. We did win the case. So I know if on some of those tax bills it said that federal, it has some kind of court charges on there. But we shouldn't have to pay for something that we have won. We sued.
We sued.
So that didn't even make a lick of sense either.
How
You
you-
can move on to the next topic.
I'm Latisse. I'm gonna finish off our minutes, but Minister Sanders, I don't understand how we sue and Hamtramck never paid for anything. They got funding from the state to put the property taxes for the payment for the lawsuit. Does not make any sense. I sue you and you tell me I pay, and I win and you tell me I paid. That doesn't make sense at all. You said you had a resolution. Can we hear about the resolution that you guys had? It shouldn't take more than 2 weeks to get a resolution when we are the plaintiffs. We are the plaintiffs. We should not be paying you guys and we sued you. That's unfair. Or maybe the judge or the state could come back in here and take over. Because this is ridiculous.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to hear a resolution. Or we can protest again.
So, we explained last time that 5% of the increase was by the state, not by the city, right, for this year?
Across the board.
So 5% of the increase was by the state.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I said 5% of the increase in this year's tax was by the state, not by the city. And the resolution that the judge decided was just around $50 on each resident. So the subcommittee is still working on this tax increase thing. They will meet with the, department that are responsible for this, and they will discuss what can they do about if there's a way to help the residents decrease the tax, or they will do some research about it. So we have 3 city council members in the subcommittee. They will have some meetings soon, and then they will do everything possible to help our residents decrease their tax.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And to address Josh's issue, we are working on an ordinance now to specify some punishment and penalties for any kind of vandalism on private properties. There would be some punishment, some consequences for any kind of vandalism, either in private properties or public properties. So we should hear about that soon. And that's a form of protecting our residents, from anyone, yeah. So our attorney is working on that. We discussed that this week, but there was no time to add it to this meeting. So hopefully in the next meeting it will happen. Yeah, thank you. Any more comments? Okay.
Speaking of next meeting, just to keep it on for record, August 8th is canceled. So, because we have an election that day, so our next city council meeting is August 22nd. Kathy Stackpool. Poland, welcome Kathy.
Thank you. You can call me Katrina.
Okay.
So I want to start by thanking the mayor for going on the Tudor Dixon podcast and letting us know what his plans are. Join the national campaign to attack the gays, drive them out of town. You said there was a big shift coming, and that only the militia of the former mayor is standing in your way. So first you target the gays, easy pickings, right? Then, we'll drive out the progressives, the youngsters, the artists, the blacks, the drinkers of beer and those who like pork, rock and roll, the blues, Polish pastries, trees, good public schools that are not segregated by boys and girls. Who are you going to throw out next? The Hindus, the Buddhists? Because you don't get along with them? The progressive people of this city are not leaving. We are the ones who welcomed you, protected you, stood up against the Islamophobia of the right wing. We defended your right to broadcast your call to prayer. We have been your allies, and we feel betrayed. You say it's okay if we're queer as long as we keep it behind closed doors. In America, the government does not tell anyone how to dress, who to love, or how to worship. You say that we are corrupting your children. No. The children, your children, will become Americanized, just like the second generation of every immigrant group who chooses to move to America. Thank you. Chooses to move here. Yes, chooses to move to America. Here, women and people of color and everybody gets to vote. If you don't want your children to be Americanized, don't move here. This is America. My haircut is in support of the Iranian women who are standing up and throwing off their shackles against their theocratic government. A big shift is coming.
Thank you, Katrina.
A power shift. But it is coming from the younger generations, and it includes your children, who will soon not tolerate
You can ask for an extra
your
minute if you
old
want one.
world ideas much longer in this city.
Thank you, Katrina.
And here's my response to your firing me. Off the Human Relations Commission for putting up a flag that represents the people of the city.
Thank you, Katrina. Bill Meyer?
Tough to follow that. Okay, that's right here.
3 minutes, sir.
Hello, everyone. Just want to remind you I sent you a little email to say that you can respond to comments. If you want to say anything about it or something, you have a right to do that. You voted for yourself to speak up. I'm here just to honor a very important lady who passed away recently, and I want to acknowledge her. She was inspiration to the city in Detroit. She was the head of the NAACP for the first female heading the NAACP. She ran the YWCA for many years out of Washington. She is a minister, Reverend Dr. Joanne Watson. A most amazing person who I bow my to. She helped us out in the Human Relations Commission many times and in our One Hamtramck organization. She was a fighter for peace and justice. She would work with all of us. A beautiful person, I just want to acknowledge that. We also, another thing I'm concerned about is that I just found out today one of the very nicest business owners in Hamtramck is closing his business. I'm so upset. Pro Discount on Joseph Campo, a Palestinian Yasser, who was my friend for since I've lived here for 23 years. Apparently has health issues and he has to close down. In his honor and his respect, I just want to say that's the model of a business owner. He would help everybody. He had sold everything in his store. You could get anything. And he would help anybody come by with their lawnmower, with their motorcycle, with their bicycle, whatever. He was always out on the street helping everybody. A beautiful person. I hope he recovers, and I hope somehow I can save his business, but it's liquidation right now. But just to acknowledge those two very important people, I want to also compliment this administration, all you guys and employees here for creating the first, by creating the first government that's in the black. I mean, I don't remember since I've lived here 23 years that you've had a balanced budget without a deficit. How do you do it? I mean, did you make some mistakes over the last 16, 18 years? Did you figure some secret out? What is it? Are we lucky that now we're doing good? Well, I'm very proud, and I think this is people that are working together, and that's an important aspect. It's very important. You have staff here now, people who seem to be working well together, and you can make great advances when you work together. So I compliment you on that. And now that my time's up, I'd like to get to what I really want to talk about. Priorities. You have a lot of money. What are you going to spend it on? Windows? You're going to spend it on fixing the roads, whatever. You know, got all these lists of things that have to be done that cost money. What would you do? Can I ask for another minute? What would you do if it was your own house? What would you spend money on the windows? Would you spend money on fixing your car? Would you take your kids to the hospital more? What would you do? I mean, how do you put these priorities in order? What's most important? I mean, don't go spend a lot of money and realize, oops, we forgot we need to build the roads, or we have to fix the water system, or the sewer system, or whatever. So, I hope you know what you're doing, because we got a lot of spending going on in this meeting coming up here. And just finally, I want to talk about a word that we don't say very often here, and it's the real problem that's causing our financial ruin. It's called gentrification, and we're victims of it. This is not a city. You guys aren't doing anything wrong as far as money. We've got very little money to work with. Money is going other places. People are making a lot of money in other areas. Cities like Hamtramck are losing. We're suffering gentrification where wealth comes into the city and poor people are driven out. Well, I don't know if that's exactly the case in Hamtramck, but it is in Detroit. And we're right next to Detroit. We're encircled by Detroit. Our situation is affected by what's going on around us. So I really suggest that you look into ways of fighting gentrification by creating alliances among residents and businesses.
Thank you so much.
My next part, I'll tell you some ideas.
Can't wait.
Okay, thank you.
That's all for public comment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. All right, so we move to the consent agenda. This is